Hello, everyone. It is lovely to have you here. If you are tuning in on the replay, give me a hashtag replay in the comments and let me know that you are here. But welcome to everyone who is watching live. Do make sure that you give me some thumbs up, some hearts, some likes, some loves, some shares, whatever the version is on whichever platform you are tuning in on today. I would massively, massively appreciate it. It helps us reach more people online. So today is Thursday, which means, of course, it is time for what's happening now, the UK economy and business update. Now, I will be touching a little bit on some of the budget stuff, but I did also do a separate live on that yesterday. So you can check out my profile on wherever you're watching to rewatch that video if you want to go deeper into the budget. I will touch on it very briefly today. But I will be touching on what's happened in the economy, in business and small business in general over the last week in the UK. So that is what you are in for today. So of course, I have a lot of notes written. So if you see me looking down, looking around, that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm making sure that I'm covering everything off for you today. If you are new to me, welcome. My name is Annette Ferguson. I am CEO of Annette & Co, a UK-based accounting firm. I am a chartered accountant, certified profit first professional, and small business growth strategist. And fundamentally, we help business owners take home more money from their business for them and their families to enjoy through a mixture of profit, accounting, and tax management strategies. So welcome. Right, let's see what we have first on the bill today. So I did say that I'm not going to be diving deep into the budget because I did do a separate live on that yesterday, but I am going to touch on the budget first off because we're seeing in some of the headlines that, Jeremy Hunt's budget offers 9 billion business tax breaks. That is what some of the headlines are saying. But it's really important to understand, as a small business owner, that is not for us. Those billions of tax breaks ain't happening here. They are happening for basically big businesses. For small business, fundamentally, there are no tax breaks. Yes, there's a couple of things that were announced, but actually they don't really impact small businesses at all. So you might have heard of the full expensing that Jeremy Hunt is allowing, which is basically when you purchase a capital asset, allowing the 100% write-off in the year of purchase. And typically that's spread over time. Except actually small businesses have that already with the annual investment allowance and 100% first year allowances. So unless you are spending over £1 million worth of capital expenditure, this makes no difference to you in terms of your tax position as a business. So that one can be put in the bin. The only one that really applies to small businesses, but again, because of the level of spending required, probably doesn't, is the R&D tax credit stuff that was announced, where if you have over 40% of your expenses as R&D, you can save 27 pence in the pound through tax breaks. Now, most small businesses don't have the cash capacity to be spending 40% of their expenditure on R&D. That doesn't typically happen, and therefore actually also not relevant for small businesses. What is relevant to small businesses is stuff that's already come in and already been announced that has not been repealed. So one thing to note, if you are earning over £50,000 profit in a year, your corporation tax will go up from the end of this month. And if you're 50,000 or under, you'll still pay 19% corporation tax. But if your profits are 250,000 or higher, you'll pay 25% corporation tax. If you're in between that stage, you will pay a sliding scale of corporation tax. So you'll be somewhere in that scale, but that will be an increase for many, many small businesses. Really no tax cuts available. So actually, this budget has not been a budget of business. It's been a budget of big business. It's not been a budget of small business. There is nothing here for small businesses at all. And in fact, the story is for small business that actually our tax bills will be increasing rather than decreasing. So that's really important to know for your planning and looking at your future forecasting for your business going forward. So what else have we learned over the last week when it comes to UK business and the economy? Of course, a lot of focus was on the lead up to the budget and what was going to be announced and all those things. But there are some other notable points as well. One is that corporate insolvencies have risen 17% in England and Wales in the year to February. So corporate insolvencies have jumped almost 1/5 in England and Wales in the year to February as businesses struggle with rising costs and a slowing economy, according to official figures published ahead of the budget. So the number of registered company insolvencies reached 1,783 last month. This is something that is, in all honesty, not massively shocking. There are increasing costs for businesses in terms of, general things, software, labor, in terms of materials, etc. So general overhead costs and direct costs are increasing. We've also got increases in interest rates. So if companies had borrowings that were on a variable interest rate, we've got a problem there. And we've also seen that actually now is the time where people are starting to struggle to pay those bounce back loans and CBILS loans that they got during COVID, because they were able to do things like delay repayments, do interest only for a while. And actually now the real cost is coming in and businesses are therefore struggling as well. So with all these things combined, it is not in any way surprising that we have seen insolvencies increase. It is not a good thing, but not a surprising thing at the same time. And it goes to focus on the absolute essential need, in my opinion, for businesses to make sure they are forecasting and they are understanding what's coming up in their business, what the costs are, what the potential revenue is, what the potential pitfalls to that revenue are, and making sure that you understand what your future cash flow is going to look like so that you can weather any storms that your business has. So on the plus side of that, Rishi Sunak says that confidence is returning to the UK economy after the GDP data beats the forecast. So the gross domestic product rose 0.3% in January, which doesn't sound a huge amount, but that was following a 0.5% contraction in the previous month, according to the Office of National Statistics. The improvement has been said to be driven by the service sector, according to the official statistics. However, it is also important to note that the UK is the only G7 economy not yet to have fully recovered to pre-pandemic levels. So that is a bit of a worry, and many people will blame that on various things. But I am not going to get into the politics of those things on this show. That is not what we are all about. We are all about small business and economy updates, and we are not, I'm trying not to delve into the politics of the situation. So UK wage growth has slowed to 5.7% as unemployment remains at near record lows. So slowdown strengthens the case for the Bank of England to keep interest rates on hold. And that's why this data is important to us as business owners. UK wage growth has slowed in the 3 months to January as economic pressures made employers more uncertain about hiring, official ONS data showed on Tuesday. The ONS said that the unemployment rate remained near record lows at 3.7%, despite the difficult economic climate. So in the past 2 years, this tight labor market has left many employers struggling to fill posts. You've probably seen it online, advertised locally, people struggling to get people to fill open positions. And it's also helped workers win wage rises that at least partly cushion the shock to the living standards issues which were caused by soaring inflation. But policymakers at the Bank of England believe that rapid wage growth could make high inflation more persistent, and it is one of the key indicators that will determine how much further interest rates rise. Along with slow wage growth, the data shows hiring pressure has continued to ease, however, with the number of vacancies falling for an 8th consecutive month. Layoffs have also pushed the redundancy rate back to levels not seen since before the pandemic. So we're also getting some of that coming in as well. And the last thing that I think it's important to speak about today and cover off in today's update is the Silicon Valley Bank situation. So I'm sure you've heard by now that Silicon Valley Bank in the US went under, and Silicon Valley Bank has a UK arm. So HSBC has purchased Silicon Valley Bank's UK arm in a rescue deal. On Monday that happened, and it was basically an attempt to avert a crisis in the tech sector in the UK. And it was a kind of overnight talks, fire sale type situation. So Silicon Valley Bank UK was kind of swept up in the implosion of the Californian-based Silicon Valley Bank, which US regulators shut last Friday. So the possibility of the UK arm collapsing was incredibly high. The Bank of England warned that they planned to put it into insolvency after the collapse of its parents. And that was basically that they needed to take action to stabilize it and ensure the continuity of banking service, minimize disruption to the tech sector in particular, and support confidence in the financial system. Now, I think the bigger question here is, yes, this has happened, but what caused it, and is it likely to happen to my bank, is probably what people are wondering. The first thing to remember is that when you have money in a bank, the Financial Services Compensation Scheme applies. So it applies per banking group. So if you have money in multiple banks, make sure that you are under different banking groups so that your money is protected. Money in a business name is protected. It's money in a business name. And again, if you need to, you might need to spread that around so that you have money spread about. The guarantee is up to 85,000 in one banking group. So that's important to note. Now, the Silicon Valley Bank went under, is being reported as a result of a run on the bank. What that basically means, a run on the bank, is when lots of people decide to take their money out at the same time, but banks don't hold enough actual money to give everybody their money at the same time. So when everyone requests their money at the same time, the bank doesn't have the money to give them at the same time. That causes its collapse. It becomes insolvent. It can't pay its debts as they fall due. It's insolvent. That is what happened to Silicon Valley Bank. And so could that happen to an other bank? Yes, it could technically happen to any bank, because no bank has the money for every person to suddenly request their money out, or probably even half the people to request their money out. Now, the Bank of England has stressed that the wider UK banking system remains safe, sound, and well capitalized. And of course, we have the Financial Services Compensation Scheme to rely on as well. But we have also, over the last 24, 48 hours, heard that Credit Suisse also has some issues and has had to borrow from the Swiss Central Bank in an attempt to boost liquidity and calm investors as well. There is also some issues with banking in Asia at the moment too. So we are seeing banking issues existing. Therefore, be careful out there is the short answer on that. When it comes to where your funds are, remember that if you're a limited company, you have the cover for being a limited company because it's a separate legal entity to you. But if you're a sole trader, you and your business are the same legal entity. So you need to be careful about how much you're holding in one banking group, even more so. So that's important to note as well. So I hope that today's session has been informative and useful. Like I said, I dig much more into the budget in the live I did yesterday. So, look on whichever profile you are watching this on to check that out, and you can see some more information on that. But the long and the short of it is there is nothing for small business. That is the basic summary of it all. But yeah, that's where we are. We are back, of course, Thursday, same time, same place. Thursdays at 11 is the What is Happening Now UK Economy and Business Update. So do make sure you mark your diaries to join me then. I am also live on Tuesdays. Tuesdays is for Training Tuesday. And Tuesday, the 21st of March, is How to Perform a Year-End Review. So do make sure you mark in your diaries to join me for that. I will look forward to sharing that with you and helping you and support you to do year-end reviews on your business so that you can understand what went well, what didn't go well, what needs to change going forward. Thanks again for tuning in. I know your time is precious and I appreciate you spending some of it with me. Do remember, thumbs up, likes, hearts, loves, shares is all massively, massively loved and appreciated. So thank you for doing all of that for me. I do appreciate it and it does help me so much. So thank you. And I will speak to you all really soon. Take care, everyone. Have an incredible day.